The next part of the journey takes me to discover the history and beauty of Hyle and Tayma, and then to travel all the way to Tabuk. Day 2. I'm proud to say that Hadaj, my guide to Hyle, is the first female tour guide in Saudi Arabia, and this is surely a sign of the changes which are rapidly taking place in this country. We are now following Hadaj, our tour guide, and will be going towards the Neolithic site of Hyle. The Hyle region is well known not only for the beauty of its landscapes, but also for its historical heritage. Now we are heading towards the oasis of Jubbah, which is about 80 kilometers north of the city in the Nefud desert. This was once the site of an ancient lake, rich with vegetation and wildlife. To the west of the oasis is our destination, Jebel Sanman, or the two Camel-hump Mountain. This is one of the many UNESCO heritage sites in the region, and here the sandstone rocks are covered in Neolithic carvings dating back to the Holocene humid period, from 10,000 to 6,000 years ago. There are also Talmudic carvings dating back to about 3,000 years ago, and more recent incisions in Old Arabic left by pilgrims. The older petroglyphs are beautifully executed and deeply carved into the sandstone. I guess they must have taken a lot of time and effort to complete.
It's the different age. You said that's Camel? Of the human? It's the Thamudic age.
The carvings include a variety of male and female figures, domestic and wild animals, and hunting scenes. They have allowed archaeologists to shed considerable light on the society of the Saudi prehistory and on the environment before the desert took over the whole landscape. From the figures, it is evident that the pastoral nomads which inhabited the region domesticated horses, camels, and dogs, and hunted with bow and arrows and spears. Breathless and full of admiration for the beauty of this archaeological site, we then head towards the nearby local museum. We are at the Jubbah Museum. It seems to be closed, but Hadaj is making some calls. Maybe she can get it open for us. It looks like despite all the efforts, there is nothing to do. The museum will remain closed, but Hadaj has another idea. Throughout Saudi Arabia, it is common to find places where privates try to preserve the country's way of life through heritage villages or small makeshift museums. Here, it is the example of an old farm restored by its owner that is proud to show us around out of pure hospitality. And of course, the visit starts with coffee and dates. The way of life in these farms was simple, as was the furnishing of the few rooms which provided shelter for the families and their belongings. It is a privilege to have the opportunity to see in function this old well, where the water to irrigate the crops was drawn by the back and forth of the camels. This farm, as well as dates, was also producing good quality cotton. Now, only this plant survives as a reminder for the visitors. In the afternoon, Hadaj takes me to admire the colors of the sand of the Nefud desert. Then, out of a hat, showing me photos from her mobile, she illustrates a plan for the sunset. Well, it looks like we have a surprise. I think we shall be going flying, and we shall see sunset from the area in Hale. Captain Majid is a very friendly person, and as I settle in the cockpit ready to take off, I feel the adrenaline pumping in expectation for the flight. As we leave behind the airfield, the magnificence of the scenery is overwhelming, so much so that I even forget about the fact that the plane is so small and noisy. It is evident from there that farming is a major contributor to the economy of the region, and this thanks to its low water table. The circular shape of the green farmland is dictated by the irrigation system which rotates around the well. The scenery of sunset is breathtaking, and surely it is a beautiful and unexpected way to end my day. With the fall of darkness, we head back for Tehran, and as I prepare to leave my friends, Harish and Captain Majid, I can't help but think about the day which has gone past. Now, I'm really starting to feel comfortable with this adventure. Good morning, this is our fourth day. We are on the exit of Hale, and we are on the way to Tabuk. We shall stop at Tayma, which was the capital of the Median Empire, and it is about, I would say, 600 kilometers for today. The way to Tayma runs through the Nefud desert, across the edge of the Al Kanafa Wildlife Sanctuary. The beauty of the Saudi desert is not only the landscape, but also the people you meet. Here is
Fahad, yes, and Shakir.
And Sakir.
Yeah. And you?
And I'm Luca. When driving down a fast highway, Animal Crossing is always a problem. And of course, here the problem is called camel. As a stark reminder of the dangers of driving across these remote highways, it is not uncommon to see wrecked vehicles left to rot at the side of the road. This is Tayma, the capital of the Median Kingdom. This is the Hadaj well. It dates back to the 6th century before Christ, and already then it was operated with camels, just like the one we saw in Haya. I've just been invited to join a group that is going to explore the archaeological area of Tayma. I can't believe my luck for being invited on this excursion, but as I follow the lead car of the road, I start to worry about being able to keep up. Thankfully, even without tearing down the tires, my car handles excellently on the soft sand. Well, here I am with my new friends, visiting this amazing site.
يعني حيث انه ترك نابونيد، يعني هذا نابو من المعبودات الرئيسيه يعني عند الاشوريين والبابليين. هنا طبعا الرسمه هذه يمكن تعتبر اجمل رسمه لحصان على رواجها صخريه.
In the 6th century before Christ, the Babylonian king Nabonidus moved his residence to Tayma. We see him now represented on horseback in this exquisite and lifelike rock carving. We, however, notice soon that this is just one of the thousands of rock carvings and inscriptions to be found on the sandstone boulders disseminated in this part of the desert. Surely, many have not yet been mapped nor studied. The drawings often portray camels, soldiers, and animals, while most inscriptions seem to be dating back to the Talmudic period. We soon get back to the cars and drive on through the desert to go and see more petroglyphs and to enjoy the sunset in a particularly scenic area. My attention is caught by the realistic pose of this figurine, representing a soldier or a hunter. It is then time to start to head back to the road, while the sun sets over the horizon. As I follow the cars across the desert in the darkness, barely illuminated by the headlamps, I'm thinking back to all the events which are shaping my journey, and I thank my good star for my fortune. So my evening continues. I've been invited for coffee and dates, and I'm in a beautiful tent. According to the Arabian tradition, the host will only offer you a sip of coffee each time he refills the cup. This way is showing you that he's glad to continue serving you. Out of respect, only after 3 cups or more can the guest refuse a further refill, and then the host will serve hot tea. as the evening draws to a close. Day 5. We woke up early and now this archaeologist who is in the group is going to take us to see some amazing rock art, and from then on we'll move to Tabuk.
Here we go! Here!
The way to the site takes us across beautiful rocky landscapes illuminated by the early morning sun. Finally, when we arrive, I'm confronted by the depiction of camels and men in arms mounted on horses. A special treat, and in reality what has brought us all the way to this location, is the rare carving illustrating a soldier on a war chariot. Driving back to the road, it is time to say farewell to my friends, and as we part in opposite directions, I head towards the